Philippines, here at the first summit of Heads of State of SA. It is a great pleasure and an honor to be here today. A blessed date, a memorable date, July 6th, here in Miami. Before we begin, let us give thanks to God who has made this day possible. We thank Him for everything He has been able to do for us until today, and everything He will do for the people of SA. Allow me also to pay tribute to the people of Niger, these people who have suffered so much for the rest of their life. And since the advent of the CNSP, and who continue to stand firm. Thank you to the Nigerians who gave us a warm welcome yesterday when we set foot on the soil of our homeland here. You are more than friends. You are more than neighbors. You are our brothers. You are our sisters. Because brotherhood goes beyond friendship or neighborliness. We have the same blood flowing through our veins. In our veins flows the blood of those valiant warriors who fought and who preserved this land that we call Mali, Burkina Faso, and Niger. In our veins flows the blood of those valiant warriors who helped the entire world get rid of Nazism and many other scourges and misdemeanors. In our veins flows the blood of those valiant warriors who were deported from Africa to Europe, America, Asia, or I don't know yet, and who helped build these states during slavery. In our veins flows worthy men, robust men, upright men. And for that, let us be proud and thank you for being a national SA. Africa, this continent that has suffered so much and continues to suffer because of the imperialists. These imperialists have only one cliché in mind. Africa is the empire of slaves. That's how they see Africa. For them, Africans belong to them. Our lands belong to them. Our subsoil belongs to them. They have never been able to change their software until today. It is deplorable. But how does it proceed? Unfortunately, since the 60s, when these 6,000 acres of independence were given to Africa, they have simply placed local police at the head of their sub-prefecture, according to them, so that they can continue to feed them. These local values that we will describe today as armchair slaves have been seeking to live like the master, to satisfy the master, and to do everything the master dictates. They steal, they take our states, bring everything to the master, and their wealth is kept by the master. They do everything to live like the master and always satisfy him. When the master orders, they do. Do you know who these armchair slaves are? Well, we will explain what they are. These are individuals who have no dignity, no morals, no personality. The slave master has always known how to identify these individuals. They are always ready to betray their brothers to satisfy the master. They have betrayed us since independence, and others continue to betray us to the benefit of their masters. These individuals continue against all odds to plunder Africa, to help the master perish Africa. They like to say it every year in their economic survey. Burkina Faso is the poorest country, Mali is the poorest country, Niger is the poorest country. We are ranked among the last. Very well. If we are as poor as they say. But when the time came to take responsibility, we asked these masters to leave. Oh, why don't they want to leave? If we take the case of Niger, for more than 40 years, some countries have been mining uranium to produce energy at home. From Ottawa to Paris, the streets are lit up, it's light. But in Niger, we have served darkness. When you go to our states, our soil is riddled with holes in all directions to search for precious metals such as gold. But often there is not even the slightest accessible road to reach the areas where they mine gold, let alone some basic social services. That's why we decided to revolt and take the destiny of our countries into our own hands. There are many other examples. But when we decided to do so, we were approached by some parlor slaves to pass on their master's message to us because they had created this sort of polymath chain that rises up at the head of our states to serve.
These are brand new modern roads in Burkina Faso. Way better than any post-colonial attempt. But here's the real story. Traoré is building arguably the most ambitious expressway project West Africa has ever seen. This is an insane, 8-lane, 332-kilometer high-speed monster designed for 140 kilometers per hour with a massive 100-meter right-of-way. In just 40 days, they've already cleared that massive path across the entire route as per state media. Just look at the sheer scale and wideness of this construction corridor. Run your eye from the left edge all the way to the right. That entire cleared expanse, all of it, is a single highway. These crews do not stop. They are working 24/7 at a literal wartime pace.
Ça sera 24 sur 24. Je les ai dit, il n'y a pas de délai. Je veux qu'il soit le plus rapide possible. Parce que on doit aller à un rythme infernal.
This is no basic road. It features world-class interchanges and highly sophisticated bridges like this. The crazy part? Unlike most other African countries, Burkina Faso is building this entire highway with literally zero foreign money. Traoré confirms it right here on camera.
Et ça, c'est important. Et c'est financé par nos fonds propres. Donc, ce qui veut dire que j'ai déjà dit au ministre des Finances de prévoir pour 2026 minimum 200 milliards qui vont être injectés dedans.
Normally, for any other African nation, hiring foreign contractors for a road like this costs around $2 billion. But Traoré's new strategy slashed the cost per kilometer by over 60%. That is unbelievable. How? Because the citizens are building it themselves. Look at this man in his 60s, dedicating his time to nation building.
So what time did you come here?
Came here for 2023.
Okay, 2023.
Yeah.
But today, what time did you come here to work?
This morning, 8 o'clock.
8 o'clock.
Yeah.
And what time will you go home?
Going to 5.
5.
Yeah.
So from 8 to 5 you'll be here.
Yeah.
And you are doing it for free.
For free.
Just to support the nation building. Wow.
Imagine, they're doing this voluntarily, every single day, from 8 in the morning to 5 p.m. From women pushing wheelbarrows of sand to active duty soldiers, down to these young students. They all share the exact same goal.
Aujourd'hui, c'est à nous de le construire.
On est là pour le travail du pays.
Captain over here, and he is giving me a certificate.
We'll come back later to those citizens building their country in a moment. This self-reliance is exactly what's making Macron furious, to the point where he's trying to claim the Sahel's success as his own.
Je crois qu'on a oublié de nous dire merci. Mais je le dis pour tous les gouvernants africains qui n'ont pas eu le courage vis-à-vis de leurs opinions publiques de le porter, aucun d'entre eux ne serait aujourd'hui avec un pays souverain si l'armée française ne s'était pas déployée en Sahel.
The irony? For 6 decades, France was in the Sahel. The moment the French were expelled, infrastructure projects accelerated dramatically. The real story is hidden in the route itself. At first glance, it looks like a domestic highway. Once you zoom out, something strange appears. Look at the direction it's taking and the places it's reaching toward. This isn't how you lay out a road that's only meant to stay inside one country. I kept staring at it, And the more I traced where it's actually heading, the more I realized this plan runs a lot deeper than I first thought. But before I reveal why this highway could be the most important project in the entire Sahel, we need to look at the bigger picture. Because this expressway isn't an isolated project. And once you see the full master plan, you'll understand why Macron and his Western allies are genuinely terrified. Starting right in the capital, Ouagadougou. Most people still imagine Burkina Faso's capital as this crowded, narrow road city where vehicles barely squeeze past each other. And honestly, that was accurate until very recently. Look at what these streets used to look like before any of this started. Two vehicles struggling to pass each other on what was supposed to be a main city road. Motorbikes weaving through gaps that barely exist. Watch how close the near misses get at speed. Residents say crashes were almost a weekly thing. That's their own count, not an official figure, but the danger on camera speaks for itself. In mid-2026, the capital officially opened 8 brand new road networks across the entire city, all at once. Over 22 kilometers of fresh modern infrastructure. The centerpiece of the whole network is the Rocade Nord, the Northern Ring Road, a 10-kilometer modern road that circles around the city with an overpass. The whole point of this road is to pull heavy vehicles and long-distance traffic out of the congested city center and route them cleanly around it instead. Look at this overpass structure. And now, from the aerial view, this is genuinely one of the most impressive new urban road projects in West Africa right now. As part of this 22-kilometer blitz, they also overhauled Avenue du Mugo Naba, Yeninga Avenue, and direct access routes straight to the Ministry of Defense. These fresh multi-lane roads have completely unlocked the city with improved accessibility. Just look at the crisp, modern signage seamlessly directing traffic toward Ouahigouya, Stade du Quatre Août, and the one towards Kongusi. At some point, you might not believe this is Burkina Faso. Not a render, not a proposal. Already built and in use. What makes this infrastructure truly modern is what it does at night. Ouagadougou used to have streetlights, but this one is different. The entire network features an intelligent solar grid managed by a central IoT dashboard. By tracking battery health and solar absorption in real time, the system guarantees perfect nighttime visibility along the corridor without relying on an unstable power grid. Now, the traffic moves really fast on these roads, as a truck driver said plainly. Thanks to the new road, it's now faster and smoother. To be honest, these 8 routes came with a $70 million price tag, and this specific batch wasn't entirely debt-free. It was a joint effort funded by the Burkinabe State, the West African Development Bank, and a local bank called Vista.
In Traoré's leadership, there is hope, there is future for this young, ambitious, rapidly developing country of Burkina Faso. I mean, come on! The inspiration, the wisdom, the vision, the grand of scheme of things, the wider plan and the wider vision of a united Africa. That's all what we want. And this is what will happen to any country on earth when the country resources being directed in the right way, the benefit of the people. That's what it is. Smart politics is. That's the way of Ibrahim Traoré, and he hasn't forgotten about the past history of what happens with Thomas Sankara, Gaddafi, all of these Pan-Africanists, and he is following their footsteps. Well done, young man, Captain Ibrahim Traoré. Viva Burkina Faso. Viva Ibrahim Traoré. This is the Africa that we want, with leaders like El Capitan Ibrahim Traoré in power, giving us hope. All Africans and black people, he is giving us a hope. He is showing how it is done. right? Rest of African leaders should keep that in mind and taking notes. Let the ego, the arrogance, leave it aside. Well done, Captain Ibrahim Traoré.
Le Burkina Faso, un pays qui se construit et avance. Le Burkina Faso sera ce qu'ils n'ont jamais rêvé de voir, professait le camarade capitaine Ibrahim Traoré, président du Faso, chef de l'État. Oui, aujourd'hui, cette profession de foi du leader de la révolution progressiste populaire se concrétise. Le pays des hommes intègres déjoue les pronostics les plus pessimistes et les prédications des suppôts de l'impérialisme pour s'affirmer, reconquérir l'intégrité de son territoire et bâtir les fondements d'une nation digne, libre et prospère. En dépit des vaines tentatives des forces du mal, le Faso se relève. Soutenu par un peuple fier et vaillant, le Burkina Faso avance, uni et déterminé. Les chantiers se multiplient, les infrastructures se développent, les villes se modernisent et le peuple écrit une nouvelle page de son histoire. Une histoire décomplexée, une trajectoire tracée et un plan exécuté avec l'ensemble des Burkinabés patriotes engagés pour l'avènement d'un Burkina nouveau.
W. Ibrahim Traoré, W. El Capitan. This is magnificent indeed. Well done.
Le Burkina Faso ne fait pas que parler, il se construit, il se développe. De nouvelles unités industrielles ultramodernes poussent, des routes bitumées, des infrastructures sanitaires de dernière génération sont réalisées et des écoles et universités se construisent.
Look at Burkina Faso today, and you can see a country determined to build its own future under the ambitious leadership of Captain Ibrahim Traoré. And obviously the government has emphasized a great emphasis on infrastructure, agriculture, water, and from roads and urban development through the FASO Mabo initiative, which is being released by the government, to new irrigation projects and major water infrastructure. This is magnificent and beautiful to look at. The focus is increasingly on building things that can directly.
Honorable delegates, heads of state, leaders of nations, distinguished representatives of peoples great and small, I greet you not as a career diplomat, nor as a man bred for banquet halls and handshakes. I do not come to you speaking the rehearsed language of polished politics. I come to you as a soldier of my people, as a guardian of a wounded land, as a son of a continent that has carried the cross of the world, yet has never worn its crown. My name is Captain Ibrahim Traoré, President of Burkina Faso, and today I speak not only for the 22 million souls in my nation, but for a continent whose stories have been twisted, whose pain has been ignored, and whose dignity has been repeatedly auctioned off at the altar of foreign interests. Africa is not Tobago. Africa is not a battlefield. Africa is not your experiment, your puppet, your warehouse of raw materials. Africa is rising not to kneel, but to stand. And today I say before this great assembly of nations, Africa will not kneel, one on the false generosity of global politics. For decades you have sent us aid with one hand while extracting our lifeblood with the other. You build wells in our villages while your corporations drain our rivers. You donate vaccines yet patent the cures. You speak of climate action yet continue to fund the very forces that burn our forests and dry our lakes. What kind of generosity is this? The kind that feeds the mouth but silences the voice. The kind that keeps a man alive just enough to keep him dependent. We are not blind to this hypocrisy. Let me be clear, we are not ungrateful for sincere humanitarian assistance, but we reject a global order that disguises exploitation as partnership. We reject financial institutions that lend with one hand and steal sovereignty with the other. Africa no longer wants charity. We want justice. We want control over our own destinies. Too on the chains of colonialism and its modern descendants. Our wounds did not begin with us. They were inherited legacies of an empire-building madness that saw us not as humans, but chief, as cargo laboratories. My ancestors, they always take examples. They will tell us, Thomas Sankara tried to do it like this, but where is he? He is dead. The Haitian president, he tried to do it like this. Where is he? He is dead. Gaddafi tried like this. Where is he? He is dead. These are the veiled statements made to us to instill fear. If we remain in this posture of fear, we will be cowards, and history will judge us. Our children will ask questions. Our grandchildren will ask questions. We are writing history. There is no room for cowardice.
We need to defend this leader, protect him at all cost, because he is the last hope. He is the last hope that remains in Africa today. A young, ambitious leader who is only in his 30s, Ibrahim Traoré, not been in power for that long, only few months, less than 3 years, and the results, what he has achieved so far, speaks. We need to defend, protect this young leader. He is a true inspiration, a beacon of wisdom and inspiration, not just to us as Black nation, but.
Je peux dire sans me tromper que le Burkina est le deuxième pays en Afrique à développer cette technologie. C'est une technologie qui ne s'importe pas, ça se développe. Donc ce n'est pas des machines payées ailleurs pour assembler ici, c'est conçu ici et tout est fait ici. Donc c'est cette particularité-là.
Honorable delegates, heads of state, leaders of nations, distinguished representatives of peoples great and small, I greet you not as a career diplomat, nor as a man bred for banquet halls and handshakes. I do not come to you speaking the rehearsed language of polished politics. I come to you as a soldier of my people, as a guardian of a wounded land, as a son of a continent that has carried the cross of the world, yet has never worn its crown. My name is Captain Ibrahim Traoré, President of Burkina Faso, and today I speak not only for the 22 million souls in my nation, but for a continent whose stories have been twisted, whose pain has been ignored, and whose dignity has been repeatedly auctioned off at the altar of foreign interests. Africa is not Tobago. Africa is not a battlefield. Africa is not your experiment, your puppet, your warehouse of raw materials. Africa is rising not to kneel, but to stand. And today I say before this great assembly of nations, Africa will not kneel, one on the false generosity of global politics. For decades you've sent us aid with one hand while extracting our lifeblood with the other. You build wells in our villages while your corporations drain our rivers. You donate vaccines yet patent the cures. You speak of climate action yet continue to fund the very forces that burn our forests and dry our lakes. What kind of generosity is this? The kind that feeds the mouth but silences the voice. The kind that keeps a man alive just enough to keep him dependent. We are not blind to this hypocrisy. Let me be clear, we are not ungrateful for sincere humanitarian assistance, but we reject a global order that disguises exploitation as partnership. We reject financial institutions that lend with one hand and steal sovereignty with the other. Africa no longer wants charity. We want justice. We want control over our own destinies. Too on the chains of colonialism and its modern descendants. Our wounds did not begin with us. They were inherited legacies of an empire-building madness that saw us not as humans, but chiefs, as cargo laborators. My ancestors were not consulted when maps were drawn with rulers and compasses in Berlin.